And I had this realization about my dad, and we had struggled with him for about 5 years with kind of depression.
Yeah.
He had told us how he was going to do it, and he did it exactly the way he said he was going to. And he was supposed to go hunting that day, that morning. He was lying down on the sofa. I would give him 5 before I walked out the door.
Okay.
But he didn't do that night. There are times that I wish I had taken 20 minutes. Would that have made a difference? I don't know.
What's a memory? Give me a memory of your dad.
The best memory of my dad, I hated to fly. And so my dad drove me to Atlanta. This is when you could still walk people to the gate, and it changed my life because after that, I realized, wow, okay, I can talk about this. And I can help other people.
This is the Grieve With Christa podcast, sponsored by Glad Community.
Thank you so much for being here, for doing this. So we're here to just talk about and honor John, right? John Brown.
Yeah,
your
John
father.
T.
Talk about John T. Okay.
John T. with no period.
Why no period?
I don't know. You know, he was Texan. So there were a lot of John Thomas Browns in the family. And for some reason, there is a story to it that my father told me before he died. And he told me that there was a John Thomas Brown who killed a man. And so when they named him, they didn't want to call him John Thomas Brown because it was bad, bad.
I got it.
So they just called him John T. And I knew this story. And when my nephew was born, they named him John Thomas Brown. And I was like, well, I have a little story that, and my mother didn't even know that story.
Wow. That's funny.
I know.
That's so funny.
he was just John T. Brown.
John T. Brown.
Yeah.
And I know, we're here to talk about your grief journey, right? From a tragic accident when you were 32, when he died. Can you tell us more about that?
I can. And it's so interesting because it's like an onion. The layers keep showing themselves. So I was 32 and I just moved back to Augusta from New York. So it was a year after 9/11. And my daughter was 9 months old. And it was 2 days before Christmas, so December 23rd, and at noon. And I got a call from my mother that my father had shot himself. And, this was the house where I grew up. So, say 35 years, I think, basically my parents had had the house. And it's like you don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't believe it at
You
first.
don't believe it.
When you get the call.
Oh, I asked everybody, are you sure? Did you feel his heartbeat? But, it was a very strange day because my grandmother from Texas flew in at noon that day. And, it's just when something like that happens, the world kind of ends a little bit, but you have to keep doing stuff. Like pick up your grandmother from the airport.
Yeah.
I sent my husband at the time. He picked her up from the airport and she came to my house. Because then when it's suicide, it becomes a crime scene.
Yeah.
Things that...
it's dramatic.
Yeah. And it's a small town. And so then people see the ambulance and the fire department and the police and, it's just becomes this wildfire story.
Yeah. Do you still think about that moment?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, because it's this great unknown. Suicide is the great unknown of deaths.
Yeah.
The question of why, it always lingers. Even when you think you've solved the case.
You didn't.
You didn't.
Yeah.
And I tell people when they have had similar situations, the why is it's unreasonable.
Yeah.
And to just not ask. And And also I tell people that either have friends that are going through this or family members to don't ask that question. It's not, grief, even as if you're a friend of, you're also going to have, you're grieving as well. And there's a process where just don't ask that question to your friend. It's just like, just don't do that with suicide.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no right thing to say.
Yeah. No.
So you're 32. You get this call that this happened. Mm-hmm. And then what was the journey that we could take that first year?
My mother, I had to deal with my mother. Mm. So my grief process was short-lived because I had a 9-month-old baby and I had a 62-year-old mother who I had to help. And, she was very independent. She was a working mother always, but this really set her back.
Yeah.
And especially she was there at the house. And, I can't imagine being.
Because she found him.
I mean, she was there when he did it. And so I did everything. I did the, all of the daily things, like close up his office and work with the insurance, all of the menial things that you have to do task-wise that she didn't do. So, and then I got pregnant because that seemed like a good thing to do, which was also unexpected. So my grief was kind of put aside. My real grief.
Yeah. Because you had a lot going on.
I mean, I missed him every day. I cried every day, but there was no real understanding of grief.
Do you have brothers and sisters that helped you, or you felt like this?
No, yeah. Well, my brother lived in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And so he was just kind of gone. We weren't together. It just is. It's so automatic. Everything just disappears with suicide. And people don't know how to handle you.
Yeah.
People don't want to come around because
there's no right words.
There's no right words. It's so taboo. And people were angry at him, my father. So, it's very lonely.
And was your mom able to talk about it?
My mom did not want to talk about it. And I brought up, I think we should go to counseling as a family. And she said, you can go to counseling. And so that was that. We weren't going to counseling. No.
So she's really never talked about it?
She's never really talked about it until lately. And then I've heard more about that day that I never really asked questions about, but she's now told me more. And not that gave any insight, but I never really thought about it from her perspective.
Yeah.
It was always about me.
And I love that because that's what happens. We don't look at it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's big. That's big what you said.
I just always was sad for myself and really sad for, my children that they weren't going to know their grandfather. I never really thought about my mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she was tough and shut down. And sometimes when people are tough and shut down.
And so lately, I'd say over the past few years, she's shared more. And then I really think now, what was her day like? What was her morning like? And I always wonder now, what was her grief like? It was definitely in solitude.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like she's just been stuck in a certain box since this happened?
Yeah, I mean, she moved out of my childhood home 2 years after he died. And so I thought that was good. My brother moved into my childhood home. That was all very strange for me.
Yeah.
Because I just thought she would stay there. And then my brother had his family there. And it was tough for me because I was very close with my dad. And I just looked up to him. Mm-hmm. Like, I was a daddy's girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I'm like, why are you doing it this way in his house? I was very territorial.
Were you mad at her? Did you feel like you held anger against her?
I don't think it was anger, it was confusion.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to talk to us about, like, why do you feel like you need to move? You know, I live down the street and I didn't know why she needed to leave. I mean, I guess now I understand it. Of course she wants to leave. But my brother was happy to move there.
And he's still there?
No,
he did. Okay.
My niece was born and lived in that house in my bedroom, and she passed in that house. So we've had, I know that house is.
It's a special house.
It is a special house.
Sacred house.
Yeah. So we had two people die in that house, and she died in my bedroom. So it was enough, and now they've moved.
Now they moved.
Now I get that one.
Okay.
It's like, okay, we've had two family members die in that house, like in the house. But I don't know, that house was just like so solid and it was so happy. Then all of a sudden it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah. But my mom is good.
A lot of times too, because how old is your mom now?
She's 84.
So, and that generation, they don't really talk a lot. You know, they shut down, they don't talk.
She didn't talk.
No. But now that you're saying, right, years later, she's opening up and it's making sense to you.
Things, just like that day, like how hard that was for her.
Yeah.
I just never really thought about her side and her perspective and how probably deeply troubled she's been.
Yeah.
For so long.
And that's probably why she had to move out of the house.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. She started dating 7 years after, because she was 62. That's pretty young.
Yeah, I was going to say, has she dated?
You know? Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, so my mom started dating 7 years later, so she was, 69 for the first time since she was 30 years old.
Yeah.
Or 29 years old. Started dating again.
How'd that go?
Well, she found this man. He was a helicopter pilot in the Vietnam War. And he was tall and handsome. I liked him a lot. And he came every weekend, just on the weekends. It was very guarded.
That's what, yeah. And how long did that last?
It lasted, he died 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Did she ever get married?
No.
Did they live together?
No.
No.
He didn't even live in Augusta. He came on the weekend.
He just came on the weekend, so we never...
Yeah.
So it was probably hard for her to get close,
to
you
get
think?
close again, I would
So how's she doing with that now? So now she's grieving
death
him.
was hard on her.
Okay.
That death was, that one, she said, I'm really sad that Jim died.
Okay.
When Jim died, that she kind of opened up more.
After more than 25 years as a hospice nurse, I've had the privilege of walking with people and families through some of life's most secret final moments. My book, 8 Lessons the Dying Has Taught Me, shares what those moments taught me about grief, love, forgiveness, presence, and what really matters while we're still here. If you've lost someone close to you, or you're learning how to carry grief with hope, I wrote this book for you. And the best part is, all the proceeds from the book go directly to GLAAD, helping us continue to support people through grief and loss. The 8 Lessons the Dying Taught Me, available now.
Yeah, because, that was not great.
No. Yeah, because sometimes, as you know, in my experience, sometimes with suicide, we take, it's my fault, I could have done something different. Do you feel like you've taken...
She's never said that. And I have always been like, don't you feel a little responsible?
Yeah, that's hard to talk about, though. That's hard to say.
But she doesn't feel responsible at all for my dad's death.
And truly, I mean, I like the outlook, right? Because if she held that, like she was responsible, what would that look like for people and all the suicides?
I mean, I probably felt responsible in some way because I was supposed to be there at noon. And
okay.
But
you don't feel that way anymore?
No.
Okay.
I don't. And I did some work finally, I guess about 4 years ago. And I had this realization about my dad. And, we had struggled with him for about 5 years with kind of depression and all of that. And I just didn't think when someone's depressed and you watch that, you don't think they're actually going to do it. What I do tell people now is suicide prevention is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult thing to prevent. Mental health is so important.
Yeah.
But if you're at a point where you're in suicide prevention, that's a hard one.
It's hard.
And when people tell you that they're going to commit suicide, they usually do.
Yeah. Did you know with your dad? Did you guys have any idea?
He had told us how he was going to do it, and he did it exactly the way he said he was going to.
Mm. How long did he say that
He
for?
had told us that like a few years before.
Before. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I always said, why didn't we take the guns out of the house? He was a big hunter. And he was supposed to go hunting that morning. And I guess he hunted himself. But, yeah.
He hunted himself, yeah. Well, when's the last time you saw him?
I saw him the night before.
That's great.
Yeah.
You gave him a hug.
I pulled on his toe. And, yeah, I'll never forget that moment. And there are times, and I'm sure this is very common in everyone's grief, that I wish I had taken 20 minutes just to sit down instead of racing out the door. He was a big wine collector, and I came in to grab some wine. I was going to a Christmas party, and I was stealing his wine from him and just said, thanks, Daddy, and pulled on his toe. He was lying down on the sofa. And, wish I had sat down for 20 minutes. Would that have made a difference? I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. But you were there. That was the last memory, his toe. You pulled his toe.
Yeah.
Did you always pull his toe?
No, he used to put his hand out and I would give him 5 before I walked out the door.
Okay.
But he didn't do that night. So he was pretty down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just grabbed his toe.
It's been how many years now?
It's been 23 years.
23 years. Okay. So when do you feel like something snapped for you in your grief journey? That you were maybe able to take a deep breath and things became different? A lot of people say they remember that moment.
I don't know that. I think. So, my television show changed my life in so many ways. But when I opened my store in West Hollywood, my mother came to see it, and we were filming. And, I was so inspired by my father. He was an architect and a painter, and he just taught me so much, and was a great dresser. And so there was a lot of aesthetic in the store that he had taught me. Mm. And I was talking to my mother about it, and I said, I could just feel this weirdness with her about my dad. And I said, don't you miss him? And she said, no. And I just started crying. Mm. And something switched in me at that point. And about 6 months later, we were filming again, and I was talking, it was Christmas time, and I was talking to one of my castmates, and she was going through a difficult time. And I said, I just remember when my dad died, I kept going. We still had Christmas, even though his funeral was the next day.
Yeah.
And I was kind of you can do all of this, even though it's hard right now, you can get through the holidays. And that it was I realized I was stronger than I knew, and that I was able to talk about this all of a sudden. So I really didn't talk about my dad's death. I hadn't told my children.
Wow. Well, they were young. Yeah.
They were young,
They were
but
young.
they were getting older, you know. They were like 13 and 12
Okay.
and 10 or something. And I hadn't even told them that their grandfather had committed suicide. And so I started to go, wow, okay, I can talk about this. And I can help other people. I can learn from this for myself, and then I can help other people.
Did you ever ask your mom what she meant? Like when she said, no, I don't miss him?
No, she didn't miss him.
She didn't miss him.
Well, she did tell me that he had kind of died for her years before. That's the thing, like with couples, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Even as the children of the couple, you know, I think he was a shadow of himself for a long time.
How did that make you feel?
Only she knew that, you know. It made me sad to know that, well, one, that he was hurting for so long, but also that she had endured that.
What's a memory? Give me a memory of your dad.
The best memory of my dad.
This episode of Grieve with Christa is brought to you by GLAD, a community dedicated to supporting grief walkers with connection, tools, and truth. Because grief isn't something to fix, it's something to honor. For more information on GLAD, click the link in the video description.
The best memory of my dad. I hated to fly. Petrified. Like, I wouldn't get on planes.
Okay.
And I had won this National Choreography Award.
Yeah.
And with it, I had to fly to the University of Iowa and to be a part of this whole dance thing. And I had to fly. And this is pre 9/11, so this is when you could still walk people to the gate.
Yeah.
And he was bound and determined to make sure I got on that plane. And he basically pushed me on the plane. He was there until I got onto, you know,
Yeah.
when you get on. And if he had not been there, I would not have gotten on the plane. And it changed my life because after that, I had a great experience as a choreographer and I moved to New York. And now I fly all the time.
I was going to say, yeah.
always
Now you
amazing.
fly all the time.
But
yeah.
it was because of him.
Because of him. Yeah. Now you're flying because of him. I love
that.
it. I love it. So if you had to give a message to anybody going through their own personal grief journey, what would you say to them?
You know, well, we kind of talked about this on the phone. I kind of think of grief as one of those recurring viruses because you can think that you're healed.
Yeah.
You can think that you're over it and time goes by and you think that you're okay. And then all of a sudden you get a flare up.
Yeah.
And it surprised me because it happened to me this summer. And, you know, 23 years later,
Yeah.
you know, I think, you know, I've conquered this.
Yeah.
I've conquered my sadness. I've conquered all of the terrible feelings that I've had surrounding this tragic death. And it just flared right back up. And I was back exactly to almost ground zero.
They say the flare-ups, though, when they just happen, it's like a reminder. Like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get in the hustle of life, right? And then they're like, you would cry, and it's like, because I'm here with you. Do you feel like he's with you? Do you get signs, messages?
Oh, I get signs and messages. Yes.
Give me some.
And
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? I used to get them a lot,
Okay.
and then they died down.
Okay.
Like, and for me in my head, I was like, I think maybe that means he's at peace and resting, finally. I always see a great blue heron
Okay.
and know that it's him. And I haven't seen one in a long time. But now my children will see them and they'll take pictures and send them to me.
Oh, I got chills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, and we all know that it's him, my whole family. But, and I remember when he died, even like a year after, I would want to feel sad because it made me feel like he was still there.
Yeah.
And that longing of sadness, of true grief is real.
Yeah.
And when it dissipates, you miss it. But then when you really move through grief and you understand it and like you've really done your work so that you feel good and you feel strong and you feel happy, when it hits, I was very surprised. So that was kind of an interesting lesson for me this summer. And so just for those who grieve, and that grief is a lifelong process. It's never going to go away.
No. You got to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
And reconnect in different ways.
That's right.
With the signs. Yeah. So maybe if you don't hear them, maybe you're just doing good in life. Sometimes they come in more, right, when you need them or help them. Maybe you are just, everybody's at peace.
Yeah.
What would you do differently? You got a lot of good information, but what would you do differently now? Like in your grief journey in that first year, right? Because the first year I always tell people it's the hardest. They go through all the birthdays and everything like that.
Yeah. I would have gone to therapy.
Okay. To talk about it.
Yeah. That was a mistake.
Okay.
I think things could have been a lot different for me.
When you talked about it with your children, what was their reaction to it?
Well, their cousin told them.
Okay. So they heard it from someone else.
Mm-hmm. And that was wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to share it with them. I didn't know how. I didn't have the tools. And I think if I had gone to therapy, I would have been able to do that at the appropriate age. You know, I did not know how to talk about suicide.
Yeah, no, nobody does. But you obviously had that conversation.
Well, now I do. I can talk about it all day long.
Yeah, because so you're part of so tell me your position too in the NAMI.
Well, I'm an ambassador for NAMI.
Okay.
And NAMI.
How long have you been doing that? You've been doing that 2020, was it?
Since, I think 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're so great. They have so many resources for mental health in general, but for suicide and suicide prevention. You know, I'm really impressed by what they do and how they do it. They were great for me, but then allowed me this opportunity to help other people too, which has been, just...
No, it's huge because grief is now an ICD-9 code. It's put under the behavioral, it's basically in the medical field now.
Yeah,
grief, they gave it a code because they realize it's not something you can just get over.
No, you can stay there for a long time.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this interview and
thank you.
And sharing your story, because I know it's not easy. It's not always easy to talk about it.
It's not easy. It's gotten easier.
And it will for others too. So yeah, thank you.
This is the Grieve With Christa podcast, sponsored by Glad Community.